about festivals in Brazil. Fortunately, in recent years, some initiatives to map and establish the importance of performing art festivals in the country have been made. The studies evaluate theater festivals as a priority, but that somehow reflects the reality of dance festivals, which are certainly fewer and younger. In the article written by the theater director, public manager, and coordinator of Festival Observatory website, festivais.com.br, Marcelo Bonis conceptualizes the current format of the festival and traces a history of the creation in Brazil. The development and expansions of the festivals spread across Europe in the late 40s have arrived in Latin America, already presenting this new model reference in the Avignon and Edinburgh festivals. Shows, parallel activities, social and political reflection, public concentration, celebration, and the existence of a certain gap in people's lives. In the 60s and 70s, festivals throughout Latin America played a key role in agglutinating and resisting to military dictatorship that spread across the continent. And also in Brazil, this combative political focus took place intensely. Two important festivals that emerged in this effervescent political context of the 60s are still active today: the Londrina Theatre Festival and the São José do Rio Preto International Theatre Festival. In that same article, Marcelo Bonis comments that in the 90s there was a strong growth in the number of theater festivals in Brazil that exist until today. The author attributes this fact, among others, to cultural effervescence caused by the redemocratization of the country. The article concludes that the festivals are the main responsible for the circulation of national and international shows in Brazil, but highlights the almost inexistence of public policies to support this gear that enable the circulation of arts in Brazil. Between 2015 and 2018, Alexandre Vargas, artist director of the International Street Theatre Festival of Porto Alegre, carried out a research on the festival indicator system in collaboration with the festivals that are part of the Brazilian Theatre Festival Network. The 60 larger theatre festivals in Brazil participate in the survey. However, it's estimated that there are at least 2,000 other small and medium-sized festivals, professional or amateur, spread across Brazil. In the article published in Revista Brasileira de Economia Criativa e da Cultura on the research and its results, Alexandre Varga points out some questions that synthesize the problems faced by the festivals. In the case of underdeveloped or developing countries, unlike high-income countries, cultural festivals face several problems, from those resulting from lack of audience formation to traditional ones with the insufficient resources, whether financial or infrastructure. The low average education, combined with the lack of leisure time and the distance from the main centers of cultural enjoyment in the residential areas of low-income workers, most of them in Brazil, circumscribe the audience to a more elite audience, especially in the case of large cities. In addition, the difficulty of obtaining funds through ticket sales make these events often dependent on direct public funding or via patronage. Some research data. Approximately 73% of the resources used came from laws, funds, and public calls. With the predominance of resources from the public sector, federal financing was responsible for 61% of the public funds raised. 97 editions of the festival analyzed totaled 1.9 million spectators, generating more than 48,000 jobs, 74% of these indirect jobs and 26 direct jobs, or an average 498 jobs per festival. In addition, each edition involved, on average, 25 suppliers and 24 theater companies. As part of the diagnosis made by the professionals of the Center of Studies in Creative Economy and Culture of the Federal University of Rio Grande do Sul, it's said, looking at the festival segment, we can see that this represents, in fact, an important instrument for generating income and employment at the local level, since cultural tourism is not yet consolidated in the country. In 2017, the Brazilian Ministry of Culture estimated that culture represented 4% of the gross domestic product. Public funding is estimated to have dropped by more than 40% since then. The International Dance Movement, MID, and the future of dance. The International Dance Movement, MID, was born in 2016 as a result of the union between the festivals France Dance Brasil and Dance Movement, created by me. In the program, every new edition, important shows from other countries, such as Magui Marin and Ballet de Lorraine from France, Solos of Stuttgart from Germany, Dame Danza from Colombia, Company Irene Kay and Albert Quesada from Belgium, Cia Cielo Raso and Hurricane from Spain, the Mozambican Edivaldo Ernesto and the Angolan Indian Xixava, among others. MID presents an expressive program that mixes children's, avant-garde, and popular shows, among international, national, and local works. The proposal is an intense exchange of dance styles that offers the viewer several aspects of the dance. The festival also proposes business opportunities, professional qualification, and activities from new audience to appreciate arts, especially for young and disabled audiences. In addition to sensitizing the Brazilian audience by bringing the most original trends in contemporary and international dance, it is an instrument of cultural democratization by bringing, together with specialized educators, workshops to schools and hospitals. Finally, MID is a market for programmers in Latin America and the world, a showcase for companies and professionals to show their talents. About the pandemic and its effects on Brazilian culture. Brazil, unfortunately, is not among the countries that were agile in applying measures to contain the advance of COVID-19 pandemic. A few months after the report of the first infected in the country, we still suffer from high rates of contagion and death. In light of this situation, the artists were the first to stop their activities, and they will probably be the last to have their so-called normality restored. The way While theaters, rooms, and multi-purpose spaces are not recommended, is to explore the outdoor spaces, respecting social distance and reduced number of presents. The most viable solution is at this point, I think. Within this context, after postponement had to adapt to the new reality. Respecting all the recommendations of the World Health Organization and the organs of Brazil, it dared to try out possibilities. At the end of July, the 6th edition of the International Dance Movement was held following the recommendations of social distance. The choreographies were shown experimenting with the drive-in format. Audiences in cars, reduced number of dancers on stage, screens and live streaming on YouTube. This edition, which will continue in the coming months, will also use the new medias that are already widespread in the world. Workshops, transmissions, and presentations carried out and multiplied by online social networks. Without art, we would not survive the pandemic. Art not only rescues us, but transports us. Through it, the encounter takes place. Even with the problems that the country is going through to combat the pandemic in our territory, MID seeks to try new possibilities. There are no answers to what this new normal would be. However, we offer the energy and the joy of the festival. At this moment, we propose responsibility and security for the public and the artists, giving as a guarantee, for the time being, the unrestricted observance of health rules. With the prospect of a mass vaccination, it is expected that in 2021, the vast majority of the festivals in Brazil and in the world that were partly or not held in 2020 will be resumed. I would like to conclude by saying that, like what ODT has been doing, it is very important that professional and friendship bonds are created and strengthened, and that the cultural approach between peoples is always one of the goals of the festivals. Thank you very much.